guys, welcome back to Clockwork Noodles. I am back. I'm sorry it is a day late. I had to attend something, but I am here to break down the third episode of Sugar Apple Fairy Tale. Hello and welcome back, guys. I've missed you. I hope your weekend is progressing well, and I hope you guys are picking your jaws up off the floor just like me after that episode. So many twists and turns, and about halfway through I got a theory and I couldn't let it go, and then it proved to be correct. So let's break this one down. Before we get going, make sure you guys are subscribed. There's going to be a midway review going up in 3 weeks time where I'm going to crown top 3 anime OPs, EDs, and then I'm going to do the top 3 anime of my list right now. Bear in mind it's only halfway through a season. It's always fun to compare how things change, how my opinions vary, and it either changes wildly or we find it stays the same. This anime I'm hoping is going to be in that top 3 because this week's episode was absolutely insane. Let's get straight to it. We have a new face called Hugh. He is essentially piqued with his curiosity when he sees Anne deciding to stand with her wishes. She wants to eat with her fairies. This is what we've been doing. I want to do this. The innkeeper checks with everybody and it's okay. That catches his attention. Initially, he's quite cocky. He insinuates that she's fallen in love with her fairy because of his looks. He's not a god. He's just too pretty. So again, we're seeing a lot of people picking on him because of how he looks. He looks too pretty. He's not a warrior. Chow not being in a bad mood and not slicing his partner up is probably for the best. I am now, after watching the end, reevaluating Hugh a little bit. I have a feeling one or two things with Hugh. One, him tasting both of their work is going to come in handy next week, as maybe somebody's going to have to test the sugars. It's not Jonas's work, because Jonas is clearly going to pass her work off as his. But there's a possibility he's going to be there and he's actually important. He's either very important, like he's royal family, or he's working with Jonas. There's also the chance that he could be working with him. He took the sugar as per Jonas's wishes, even though I believe it is actually Jonas who got rid of it. I believe that they were working together. So there's one or two possibilities, but I think Hugh is going to be important. I think he's going to come back. He's a bit of an a-hole. I feel like it might actually come to be helpful next week with what's happened. But Jonas does give us some exposition about the royal family and how they have their own private sugar maker, and that is the top goal for anybody. That's his goal. Jonas wants to become a private sugar maker. He might do that with this piece of work. This piece of work is absolutely gorgeous. Hugh was important. I don't know exactly what his role is in the story yet. He's just in the OP. He's definitely a sugar maker or involved in the sugar process. Him testing the sugar means that he has an understanding of sugar where he can tell differences or subtle differences of their skills. Hugh crushing both of the statues was very unneeded. You can have an opinion. You can say this is disgusting, this is wrong, but you do not break somebody's hard work. He just went that step further, and I almost wonder if it's almost very on show and so extreme that it still might be the case that it's going to save us next week, because he's tried both Jonas and Anne's work. If he is important, if he is maybe even a judge of the competition, maybe he is the royal sugar maker for the family already, maybe he is going to be the one to go, actually, he has stolen it because that's not your work. I just get the feeling that might be the case. But he does leave Anne with the impression that she's just basically copying her mother's strategy. You're just imitating somebody else. I also think that might play in a little bit later on, but of course we know that she's trying to imitate her mother, so we knew that it was true. He has a point, and he also says that Jonas is just showing off. I just get the feeling he's important. As much as I don't like Hugh, I think I'm going to hate Jonas more by the end of this than Hugh, and I have a feeling Hugh might redeem himself, so I'm going to keep an eye on this one. Xiao's face when he sees Anne run away in tears. I feel for Anne. I really do feel for Anne, having your dreams literally crushed and cruelly mocked. She didn't ask to be judged. At no point did she state, can you do this? I want you to give me a criticism right now. She didn't ask for that. Unneeded or unrequested criticism it's painful. I don't give criticism unless somebody asks me for it. Xiao's face at that moment was just soft and quite nice. He does technically try and comfort her. You have potential. Your skills are going to improve. I see potential. 3 years time, you'll be completely different. I get this. But he also says that her hair's going to change colour, which is interesting. We do get confirmation that Elizabeth, she was only 5, which is also crazy, that her hair also changed. Whether it's a thing that most girls get their hair changed colour, I don't know. He does recognise her determination. He says that she's going to get better. You're going to get pretty. He recognises that she's going to be a stunner. Heart flutter. He's at least recognising that she's a very pretty person. But we do get that backstory about Elizabeth. I've got a lot of conspiracy theories starting to flow in my head. One about Elizabeth. He states Elizabeth was kept away from society. Nobility has a thing where it doesn't like to mix with us trash, but is it just that? Or is it the fact that maybe she's part fairy? They're trying to keep her secret because they either do the thing where they want to keep themselves to themselves, but they have a kid and they do promote that kid, or they have a kid they're not happy with and they hide that kid from the world. We saw that in the case study of Vanitas. There was a kid, I think it was the girl, and she was hidden away because they were upset with her. I've also seen that trope being used. It could be one of the two. It's crazy that she was just 5 years old. Even a single look she was able to create shall. We are also then told that Elizabeth died at the hands of humans. Now go back to my conspiracy theory for a minute. If the wrong people found out that she was part fairy, see, we know that humans treat them as slaves, they see them as lesser. You can imagine them seeing her as maybe something monstrous, something horrific, wanting to get rid of her. The wrong, nasty people getting hold of that information. I bet it's something like that. Because we do keep teasing the idea of humans and fairies. We have Kathy and Jonas, and then I think Hugh tries to imply that she's in love with Shal. I get that. It's a thing that they're keeping fresh in our minds, even if they keep bringing it up in other terms. And obviously it is a romance. That also could be another reason they're trying to get the idea of those two together in our heads. But I feel like they're being a bit more clever with it. I feel like they're important. They are mentioning it because I have a feeling it's going to be very important later on. I never noticed in the artwork Anne's hair at the bottom is technically paler. Yeah, maybe her hair is going to change completely. She's going to go blonde, a very pretty colour. I can't wait to see it. But I never noticed it, so thank you, Shal, for even pointing that out because I didn't see. Let's talk about the theft. Initially, the straight-off way of looking at it was Hugh. Hugh took it from them, and he maybe realised that she had potential and he wanted to kill off his competition. That's initially the surface theory. We've got our first proper villain. Aside humanity, who are just villains anyway, we have our first solo person standing out. Or, at this moment, I said, is it Jonas? At this point, I had this inkling. Something in my chest was going, it's a bit too obvious for it to be a random guy they've just met and he's already been a douchebag and he's crushed their works. Wouldn't it be funny if that was a red herring? If they were trying to lead me down a path and go, oh yeah, totally him. Try and create a bit more suspense when they do the rug pull and it's actually Jonas. I was already ahead of the curve and I had a few little moments where I thought it was the case. Now, Jonas was OTT about getting her to marry him, so much so that he follows her out all the way through a very dangerous piece of road. This is extreme. There were a few moments when he was saying things, or the way he acts, or the way he was talking to his fairy, something just didn't feel right inside my head. It made me realise that if the sugar went missing and he stole it and he got rid of it, she would then rely on him. She would be desperate. He would then come up with a solution and be like, oh my goodness, you are my hero. Thank you, Jonas, for allowing me to do this thing. I love you, Jonas. That type thing. He's in his head. He's hoping that him showing that, hey, I'm helping you, is going to help push her in his direction. It puts her in his favour. Now, them also removing Mithril, which is him against her, and they technically take Kathy's word because guess who's being very vocal? Jonas is being vocal. And at that moment, poor Anne doesn't know what to think. She doesn't say anything and she looks at him and poor Mithril just gets hurt because he believes that, you don't believe me, I'm running away. Which is really sad because again, I just didn't think he had the motive and it's always what's the motive? And the only character I could come up with a motive was Jonas. He was the only one who had clear motive. What the hell would Mithril gain? It didn't make any sense for it to be him. So they clearly got rid of him because maybe he saw something, maybe he'd be able to help, or maybe they just wanted to isolate her. You've just picked a fight with a warrior fairy. You've seen what this guy is capable of. You've run away with a very fast horse. Doesn't mean he's not going to be able to kill those wolves and then come straight after you. However, I think that doesn't happen because it does seem next week he's going to claim the work as his, and I think there's a picture of her surrounded by guards, so she's trying to say that's my work. They obviously won't believe her. It does seem like Jonas does technically get to the place before them telling us the process of making sugar. Apples feature very heavily in the ED. They feature in the title. It's about time that we saw how the sugar process was made, so we see what it actually entails. But naturally, you can see Jonas's plan here as well. He's trying to get her to rely on him, see him as reliable, and I'm making your dream reality. I'm allowing you to enter. I know it's important to you. Actually, he also hides the fact that he doesn't need to enter this year. She says, you should enter too. But he's also like, actually, no, I'm not going to. Cease any feelings of him being a threat. I'm not going to go up against you. I'm here to support you. It's not about me, it's about you. We know he plans to steal her work and become top. It's just there for comfort. He's trying to lure her in. He's helping me. He has no ulterior motives. Jonas forcing the kiss was where the flag pretty much dropped. The penny at this point dropped too much. I'm entitled to this. He felt entitled to take it regardless. I knew it was him, and it all pretty much makes sense. It was very obvious that Kathy loved Jonas, pretty much stands up for him and goes along with anything. I do wonder if she feels any shred of remorse for what she's doing, but probably not. But it's the response to the slap. It triggered my suspicions when she said that she didn't feel that way and ignoring my feelings. Those are your feelings, not mine. It's the way that he said, you should have fallen in love with me. Something felt cold. I think the tone might have changed, and I was like, okay, this is it. This is where it's all gonna fall apart. I was so right. The tight feeling in her chest that she gets from looking at a gorgeous artwork. I also got a tight feeling. Mine was for a completely different reason, but let's quickly talk about the absolute gorgeousness of her piece. Beautiful. I love it. Those blue butterflies are just stunning. Blue is the best colour. I have blue in my hair. I love it. Butterflies for freedom, for hope. Such a gorgeous piece to have on this. I'm really hoping that Hugh is going to be there and he could be able to recognise that that's not actually Jonas's work. He might be the only person who ends up on her side when it comes to this. The dread in my chest as I could see what was gonna happen. My theory was that he was gonna destroy it. He was just gonna smash it up as his revenge because she wouldn't fall in love. Before we get our big old twist though, they do give us a bit of information about her fingers and why she smells like silver sugar. I did wonder as well with the finger thing, maybe it's a form of magic that we don't even realize humans have. The reason why silver sugar is so important is that humans who do delve and make these sculptures, they have magic in their fingertips. That love that they pour into the sculptures, and because it's special to the fairies, that's what allows them to live a longer life. But I want to protect this smile. This is when my heart melted. Amongst all these feelings of dread and anxiety starting to build, it made me just flutter because it's such a beautiful smile. And he smiles at her. He's not hiding it. It's the first smile we've truly seen from him. I want to see more of it. However, I called it. I effing called this, guys. I knew it was him. And then there's that sinking feeling as he's messing around, and there's that hint that there's blood coming in our direction as she's luring the wolves to attack her. Basically, Jonas has turned murderer. Probably banking that Xiao's going to protect her. He's going to try and murder her. Literally left her to the wolves. She's been thrown to the wolves. Literally. Let's say Xiao does get overpowered or something. He's pretty much left her to death. No, Jonas, you are on the official shit list. I don't even care if he tries to redeem himself later. He's on my shit list. Jonas, I hate you. You've gone from being an annoying stalker, and I think I gave you a family name last week as the annoying neighbour. No, you're out of the family. You don't deserve to be part of the family. The moment when Xiao refuses to let her get eaten by the wolves, outright refuses to do what she's begging. Technically, she doesn't command him, but it felt like he was doing it because he doesn't want to actually let her get hurt. It felt like he actually was doing it out of care. What a roller coaster ride this week. Absolutely manic. I'm so glad that I'm able to break it down with you guys because I had a lot of theories starting to bubble up. I don't know if half my theories are going to pan out. I get a feeling that next week Hugh is going to be an important character because he's tasted both of their work. He technically crushes it, then he pops a piece in his mouth. He says, let me keep these broken pieces, taking some of their work with him, which I think is going to be valuable. The anime is being very clever by giving you a hint right there how they might even have a solution in the next episode. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Hope you have picked your jaw up off the floor. Wonder if you guys also picked up on the bait and switch with Jonas in this video. Thank you guys so much. I hope you guys look after yourselves. Have a good weekend. I will see you guys next week. Take care. Bye bye guys. Thank you.